Diddy's time in prison has been anything but smooth. During his most recent court appearance, he appeared noticeably thinner, fueling speculation that incarceration is taking a toll on him. Reports suggest that his family is beginning to distance themselves from him as the controversies surrounding him continue to grow. Allegations regarding Diddy's inappropriate relationships within his own family have started circulating, adding another layer of scandal to his legal troubles.
We're waiting to get this hearing started. It was interesting too because this time around, Diddy was brought in first. He was brought in about a couple minutes after 2 p.m. today, and we were all kind of waiting to see. We had heard mumblings that his mom might be in courtroom, that we were waiting for the children, but then nothing happened. But then, in another twist and turn, the children do walk in, but this time it was a lot smaller bunch than it was the last time. So last time you're having all of Diddy's children, except with the exception of Love, who is just a 2-year-old child, so she wasn't at court, but you had all of Diddy's children there except Love. But this time around, you just had Justin Combs and Christian Combs, meaning that there was no Quincy there today. Delilah and Jesse weren't there. Chance wasn't there, and the caretakers of his younger children who aren't of age just yet, they were not present inside the courtroom as well today. But his mom also wasn't in court today. So when Diddy came inside, it was still that standard issued MDC jumpsuit. He's wearing khaki. From that video I think that was obtained by Daily Mail back in September of Diddy playing hacky sack in Central Park to now, he appeared just astonishingly thinner, which you can expect to be inside a federal detention center for a couple months now. A lot different from the luxury lifestyle that he was living before, but he appeared very noticeably thinner, and maybe being locked up in detention is starting to wear on him. He appeared grayer a little bit as well too, but again, he appeared just like how you would expect Diddy to appear for a hearing.
His sons, Justin and Christian Combs, were present at his bail hearing, but the rest of his family was absent, raising questions about whether they are intentionally keeping their distance. Both Justin and Christian have been named in sexual assault lawsuits tied to Diddy, and some believe they too could potentially face legal consequences. Former music producer Rodney Lil Rod Jones filed a lawsuit against Diddy in August, accusing him of sexual assault. In his lawsuit, Lil Rod claimed that Justin Combs frequently attended Diddy's infamous freak-off parties, where he allegedly helped procure underage girls for Diddy. There are also claims that Diddy coerced victims into engaging in sexual acts with prostitutes while he watched and recorded the encounters. These allegations gained traction when, in February, Lil Rod filed a civil lawsuit against Diddy, explicitly naming Justin Combs. The lawsuit describes Justin as someone who facilitated the solicitation of underage girls and sex workers. A photograph of Justin with an allegedly underage girl was included as evidence in the lawsuit. One specific incident in the lawsuit details a night when an underage girl was allegedly brought to Diddy's home for a listening party. A sex worker was also reportedly solicited, leading to what was described as a freak-off. That same night, Lil Rod claims Diddy forced him to take a drink laced with an unknown substance, causing him to feel disoriented before waking up at 4 a.m. naked next to a sex worker. Justin Combs is officially listed as a defendant in this case because, according to Lil Rod, he played a role in facilitating Diddy's alleged criminal enterprise. Court documents state that on September 12, 2022, outside Diddy's Chalice Studios, a violent altercation broke out. Lil Rod claims that Diddy, Justin, and a friend of Justin's known as G were all present when gunshots rang out. He later found G in the bathroom, curled up in the fetal position and bleeding from gunshot wounds to his hip and leg. Lil Rod alleges that while he was attempting to stop the bleeding and calling for medical help, both Diddy and Justin abruptly left the scene. Diddy then allegedly instructed everyone to tell law enforcement that he had nothing to do with the shooting. He reportedly forced Lil Rod to lie to police, instructing him to say that G was shot outside the studio by an unknown assailant in a drive-by shooting. In a separate civil lawsuit, Christian Combs, also known as King Combs, faces accusations from Grace Mark, who alleges he sexually assaulted her on a yacht in December 2022. She claims this was orchestrated by Diddy, further deepening the controversy surrounding the family. Diddy's alleged disturbing history with his family extends beyond his sons. Shocking claims have surfaced that he had an inappropriate fascination with his own mother. A resurfaced video from 2022 shows him smoking a joint with her while making inappropriate comments about creating a strip club in her honor before kissing her on the lips.
Yeah, my mom's gorgeous. Hold on, let me introduce you to my mom, called Mom Dukes.
Hi.
She's getting a drip with me. She's hydrating. What's up, Mom?
Everything's good, baby. I'm here with you.
Yeah.
I love you.
I love you too.
My baby.
Mine freshly dipped though. I was just trying to show you shoes. Yeah, my mom's is single. Mom's is single. I ain't gonna hate on my mom's. She's single. Me and my mom talked about one time doing a dating show with her. And she's so picky. She's so picky, they don't stand. But yeah, that'd be the funniest show in the world.
It will be, especially with me.
I don't even want to get started if she was doing that. We're not doing that. Cause yeah, my mom's single. Yeah, for real. Mom do know how to have a good time. She ain't sitting in the house playing. They outside moving and shaking, baby. She come with me to strip club. I don't care. For real. It's my dog. You know, I want to live life. We out here moving and grooving. So my mom told me, she just said, keep moving, baby.
That's right.
Keep moving.
Don't stop.
She could touch the floor with her palms. You know? Flat. Oh! Take pew, pew, pew.
Speculation about his relationship with Quincy Combs, the son of singer Al B. Shaw, and model Kim Porter, has also emerged. Quincy was adopted by Diddy when he was around 3 years old. Industry insiders have suggested that their relationship was always unusual. Freddie P., an artist who previously worked closely with Diddy but later claimed he was blackballed by him, has hinted that something was always off about Diddy's relationship with his stepson.
That nigga named Freaky Man. I look at his kids and everything. It's more deeper questions that I be wanting to know. Like, why were you so infatuated with a child that wasn't yours? Were you grooming that little boy? I don't even want to start those conversations because that's not your child. You know what I'm saying? And for you to keep him that close, it's like you kept him that close because he might got your secrets because he's not your child. So if he's not your child and you that type of person with that type of character, you don't mind actually doing it to him when he finally reaches a certain age because he's not yours. And you know in your mind he's not yours. And now you keep him real close to you. You make sure he don't go to his daddy. Why? You make sure he's separated with him and you provide him with everything he wants. Why? You got one of them little Michael Jackson secrets. He got one of them secrets that he can't tell nobody because his legacy, his manhood gonna be, and not only that, his brother no gonna look at him crazy. Only Puffy know, only God and Puffy.
You talking about Quincy, right?
I don't know. All I'm gonna say is, I don't know.
I'll be sure, son.
All I'm gonna say is, who's infatuated with another man's son now, like that? Like you, that seemed like grooming to me.
As the lawsuits and allegations against Diddy continue to pile up, his legal troubles appear far from over. With his trial approaching, more disturbing details may emerge, further damaging his once powerful reputation. Allegedly, Diddy's actions have deeply influenced his sons, and now they are entangled in legal troubles just like him. A lawsuit was recently filed by 26-year-old Grace O'Mark, accusing Christian Combs of groping and sexually harassing her after drugging her at one of Diddy's yacht parties. According to the claims, Diddy was present at the party and was allegedly distributing spiked drinks to the guests.
Well, Natasha and Steve, for the first time in his life, Sean Diddy Combs has spent a week behind bars. He's here inside MDC, where he's been since his arrest on Monday night on federal sex trafficking and other charges, to all of which he's pleaded not guilty. There's no VIP section, there is no concierge, only conmen, killers, and kingpins. MDC is so bad, federal judges have questioned the harsh conditions for those here awaiting trial. So bad I was here 2 years ago during a cold spell, reporting on detainees with no heat, pounding on windows for help. There was even a congressional inquiry. But take the word of a former inmate I spoke with who goes by Esco.
It's terrible. The food is terrible. Of course, the inmates are terrible. The guards are terrible. The conditions are terrible. It's just terrible.
The inmates that you're surrounded around, just in general, a lot of them are brought up on pretty heavy federal indictments, right? So just in terms of the atmosphere there, it's just certainly one that no one wants to be in.
Combs was placed in a special housing unit and on suicide watch, the standard protocol for high-profile celebrity detainees. The disgraced mogul was denied bail by 2 separate judges. His attorney, Mark Agnifilo, asked the court to transfer him to the federal detention section at the Essex County Jail, but the judge deferred to the Bureau of Prisons. Federal trial attorney Philip Hamilton says lockdown can mean a lot less time to prepare your defense.
In terms of fighting their case, it just makes it all the more difficult, because now in terms of you being able to communicate with your attorney, you are at the realms of just what's going on with respect to the facility. Is it on lockdown? Is the facility letting visitors in?
Detainees on suicide watch wear tearaway paper hospital-style garments and rubber shower shoes. The isolation may be the worst part for Combs. It's being done for his protection in the violence-prone facility. He will have no bunkie.
He's probably not going to have any contact with any other inmates. So for him, it's going to be a little different than for a person like me, where I will go in, I will go through process and intake, and then they'll assign me a cell, and I'll have a bunkie or a cellmate, and I'll be in population.
For him to be able to get out at this point, it just doesn't look good.
Meanwhile, Diddy is reportedly struggling to adjust to life behind bars. The prison where he is being held is said to have harsh conditions, and sources claim he was even found crying at one point. The Metropolitan Detention Center, MDC, has a long history of violence, and given his celebrity status, Diddy is a prime target. Convicted sex offenders don't typically fare well in prison, making his situation even more precarious.
Hell on earth. The Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn is notorious for its appalling living conditions and rampant violence. How bad is it inside this federal lockup? There have been 2 murders, 4 suicides, and numerous stabbings and lockdowns in recent years. It's so out of control inside that 4 federal judges are reportedly refusing to send any more prisoners here. Donald Trump's former fixer, Michael Cohen, spent a harrowing year in federal custody. He says for someone used to a life of luxury like Diddy, prison life is a severe shock.
You have a desk, you have a plastic chair, you have your bed with a 1.5-inch mattress, no pillow, and you also have a locker. So you basically have 3 feet by 5 feet to move around. So you have a basic 15 square feet. It is a horrible, horrible place.
Diddy's lawyers were so eager to keep him out of jail, they offered his palatial $48 million home in Miami Beach and his private jets as bail. Today, they are even offering to restrict female visitors to his homes, except for his mother, daughters, and the mothers of his children if he is released. They told the judge the jail he was being sent to is dreadful, dirty, inhuman, and an ongoing tragedy.
How's your dad doing? How's your dad doing?
Family members appeared somber as they arrived at federal court in Manhattan today in another attempt to get out on bail. The judge cited Diddy's history of violent temper and potential intimidation of witnesses as reasons for keeping him behind bars. Diddy's former protege, singer Aubrey O'Day, is celebrating Diddy's downfall today. I feel validated, a win for women all over the world.
Combs has pled not guilty. Those were the only words he uttered in court yesterday.
Reports have surfaced about his daily routine in prison, alleging that he is being kept in protective custody. He is currently not allowed to be in the general prison population and is confined under surveillance for 23 hours a day.
Foreseeable time behind bars look like. He reportedly only gets 1 hour daily of recreation and 3 showers a week. He's served breakfast, lunch, and dinner that is delivered to his cell. But instead of extravagant meals he was once accustomed to, he can expect foods like egg noodles, cereal, chili, peas, and if needed, there are reportedly vegetarian options as well. But if those foods don't work, MDC Brooklyn's commissary list has a list of additional foods and snack items, including a 6-pack of Hershey bars for $7.05, peanut butter for a little more than $3, stuffed chicken with rice for $5.75, plus more options. Diddy was once a staple at New York's biggest fashion event of the year, the Met Gala, and a frequenter of fashion weeks across the globe. Now will be forced to wear clothes not from haute couture, but instead a switch up to essentially sweats. For extra clothes, he can purchase a sweatshirt for a little more than $16, New Balance sneakers for about $55, boxer briefs for a little more than $6, plus a bath towel and washcloth set for about $12. And while confined to a cell for 23 hours a day, which is a huge difference from throwing now infamous parties, to pass the time, Diddy can purchase an MP3 player for a little under $90. But according to reports, he has a spending limit of $160, a huge downgrade from the millions he was seemingly spending prior to his arrest.
Former inmate Harvey Levine has stated that someone with Diddy's high-profile status and the nature of his alleged crimes makes him a major target. Long-term inmates, who have already served significant time, have little to lose, and taking out a figure like Diddy could earn them a dangerous level of credibility behind bars. Additionally, there are claims that some of the people Diddy had been blackmailing are now putting out hits on him. It's worth noting that MDC is the same facility where Jeffrey Epstein was held before his controversial and mysterious death, fueling speculation about Diddy's safety.
So breaking news right now, Larry, I am just getting word. People magazine says it's got a source on the inside that tells them that P. Diddy's on suicide watch tonight. Do your sources confer the same information? Are they saying it was possible?
Hey, real quickly, all that commissary stuff, he's not getting any of that because people in the SHU have an abbreviated list. So he's out of luck. No stake for him. Yeah, he is on suicide watch. This guy thought he would have went home. All of a sudden, he didn't get bond. Remember, the first night that he was there, he was like an overnight guest. When they told his bond hearing, now they checked him into the system, and reality has hit him. And I understand that he has a shrink coming by his cell to see him several times a day. And now there's talk about putting him in, it's like a bubble. It's like a cell that has like a plexiglass wall in it where they have inmates watching you. That's actually their job, to keep an eye on the inmates that are on suicide watch. Another error that I guess some warden told you this. There are sentenced inmates there. They're called cadre inmates. They don't have to be white-collar inmates, but they're doing maintenance on the building. And the problem, why there's a lot of violence there, they have housing units. And they're mixing bank robbers, drug dealers, rapists with white-collar people. And this is why Diddy, he can't go into a regular housing unit because somebody will take him out for sure. Somebody's gonna get a lot of street credibility out of this. People that are doing substantial time that know they're never getting out. They'll just kill a guy. No questions asked.
You think that they'd suck up to him because he's got a lot of money, and if he ever does get the commissary options, he would be able to help them.
Some people do because
I gotta wrap it real quick.
Okay, some people do think that Diddy can help them, but this guy's going to be locked up forever. His case will probably take at least 3 years to litigate. He'll stay at MDC. There's rumors that he wants to go to Essex County Jail in New Jersey because he doesn't like MDC. He's a Marshals inmate. There's no way they're going to transfer him back and forth, I don't know, several times a week, 6 Marshals to do it.
Jersey.
He's out of luck.
Sources from within MDC claim that Diddy's mental state is deteriorating. Allegedly, he has been found crying and begging to be released.
According to a report from the Daily Mail, that's why Diddy had a breakdown. A person close to him apparently said, quote, spending the holidays behind bars was a nightmare for him. If we're to believe all this, Diddy had a meltdown in his cell and begged the guards to take him to the hospital for observation, but they refused. This same friend or person told the Daily Mail, quote, he eventually managed to calm himself down with the meditation technique he's been using while he's been behind bars. It took him a few hours of deep breathing and focusing to get out of the bad space he was in, but he finally managed it. This isn't the first time Diddy's mental health has come into question while he's been at MDC. When he first arrived, he was on suicide watch, which the U.S. Department of Justice National Institute of Corrections describes as supervisory precautions taken for suicidal inmates that require frequent observation. Diddy's suicide watch was only temporary, though. He was housed in a special protective unit of the jail after that for the first few weeks of his stay. But Diddy right now is in Gen Pop, meaning general population, the place where majority of the inmates stay. And that's where he apparently had this meltdown.
The immense pressure of his legal battles and his current living conditions have raised serious concerns among his legal team. Insiders confirm that Diddy is not built for prison life, and if things continue down this path, there is fear that he might harm himself. This concern was reportedly so serious that he was initially placed on suicide watch when he first arrived at MDC. Diddy has always lived a life surrounded by security and power, but now he is completely alone, with no one to protect him. Many of the people he allegedly controlled and manipulated in the past are now turning against him.
Yeah, that makes sense. But you knowing Diddy personally, do you think it's possible he might take his life?
It takes a certain individual to prepare himself to do a lot of years in jail. From the lifestyle that he had, I'm not saying that he can't. I just don't see him able to do time behind bars. Maybe if he'd be in a camp type situation, that's a possibility. But based on the lifestyle and what he's done and what he's accomplished, if he had to go behind those bars for a lot of years, I think that he may commit suicide. He'd do an Epstein.
Why do you think he didn't pull a Russell Simmons and leave the country?
They was watching him, bro. They was watching him. And then I think that he had to turn over his passport. Even if you own your own private jet, they have a system up there whereas that they supposed to check your passport and anything that you need to fly as if you were flying commercial. He's suffering the consequence and I don't feel bad for him at all. Because people was trying to talk to him. People was trying to tell him. You couldn't pull him by the coat and let him know anything. You understand? They messed up the game, brother. When he put that shit out with them, money, power, respect, it ain't never been like that. It ain't never been like that. You got your respect in the street that gave you your power, that brought you your money. Totally different thing. He let that money, power, and respect go to his head, but he had it ass backwards. So do I care what happened? Nah. He got enough money to buy his way out of this. So we think.
So when you look at that video of him pacing around and he's looking worried, and you knowing him, do you think it's possible that he might commit suicide?
When you're a narcissist, there's always a possibility because you're suffering. But I don't think that he can see himself in a cage. I don't think he can see himself behind those bars in those type of situations. It's too many real dudes that dislike him. But then again, there's a lot of real dudes that need help. And him being behind bars, he could probably help them.
Given the severity of his charges and the mounting evidence, his chances of securing bail are now slimmer than ever. It is likely he will remain behind bars at least until May 2025.
Why is that not a fair outcome?
What he did here is on a magnitude of unlike anybody else you could imagine. A week after these public searches were televised, he gave us his passport. His children gave us his passport. He then paid off the mortgage entirely on his Miami home, $18 million. It's instructive that he's going to have a bail package ready so that if he was arrested, he would have something ready so that he could get out the next day and show the judge he's taking this very seriously, which he is, which is why 12 days ago, Chris, when we thought there's an indictment that may be coming, he flew to New York the very next day. And that's an extraordinary move for a defendant who's been under investigation that he's been aware of for at least 6 months. He has done everything everything somebody under investigation can do. I can't think of anything else that he could have done. He's fighting. He's fighting, he's innocent, and he's going to be able to show it.
What do you think about that counter argument? Because his team has said we're going to put together the proposed bail package, a $50 million bond, co-signed by him, his mom, his sister, the mother of his oldest daughter, and his 3 adult sons. It's going to be secured by the equity in his property in Miami, Florida. Home detention, his passport will be surrendered. The government said that's insufficient. They said, look at the charges, look at the weight of the evidence that I just mentioned. They said they have allegations that he and his associates were trying to tamper with witness testimony last year so that they wouldn't cooperate with the government. What do you take away about who has the stronger argument in terms of bail?
Well, I think his counsel has done the best they possibly can. I think bringing him there voluntarily is very smart, starts them out on the right foot. But I think the last thing that you just mentioned, the interfering with witnesses.
That's the allegation, yeah.
Yeah, if that's true, or I should say, if there's real indicia that happened, I think that might tip the scales in favor of not letting him out pending trial, because I think, and you know this, I think judges take an extraordinarily dim view of that, and that might be the factor that tips the scale against him. But I think as far as a tactic,
Further reports suggest that Diddy is currently being held in protective custody due to safety concerns. He is reportedly confined for 23 hours a day under strict surveillance and is not allowed to interact with the general prison population. Former inmate Harvey Levine has stated that Diddy's celebrity status, combined with the nature of his alleged crimes, makes him a prime target. According to Levine, long-term inmates with nothing to lose could see harming Diddy as a way to gain status behind bars. Adding to his problems, there are now rumors that some of the powerful figures Diddy allegedly blackmailed in the past may be retaliating against him. Some sources even speculate that hits may have been ordered on him. Given that MDC was also where Jeffrey Epstein was held before his highly suspicious death, questions are being raised about whether Diddy will make it out of prison alive. Diddy's mental state is reportedly declining rapidly. According to sources inside MDC, he has been heard crying and begging to be released. With mounting legal pressure, threats on his life, and his harsh prison conditions, his legal team is said to be deeply concerned about his well-being. Reports claim he was initially placed on suicide watch upon arrival at MDC, further fueling speculation about his fragile mental state. One of the most damaging developments for his defense is his legal team's admission to the existence of the so-called freak-off tapes. Attorney Mark Agnifilo has stated that these tapes, provided by one of Diddy's alleged victims, depict consensual encounters, maintaining that Diddy is innocent. However, this revelation only adds more complexity to an already explosive case. Diddy's dramatic downfall continues to shock the world. As more lawsuits emerge and new details about his prison life surface, it seems that his past is finally catching up with him in ways no one could have predicted. With so many shocking allegations already exposed, the question remains, are there even more secrets waiting to be revealed? As the Diddy saga continues to unravel, it's hard to ignore the shocking details coming to light. His legal battles, the disturbing allegations involving his family, and the tough time he's facing behind bars have captivated the public. From lawsuits to his life in prison, it's clear that Diddy's past is finally catching up to him in ways no one could have expected. But is this just the tip of the iceberg? With so many unanswered questions, the story is far from over. What do you think? Could there be more secrets waiting to come out? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more updates on this developing story. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more breaking news on this ongoing saga.